Hi friends. Well, we're baking bread today, and we're also talking fashion, particularly about shoes, and more particularly about the it shoes of the autumnal season. So stay tuned if you think you're interested in this. Gotta run. Hi. Whew, this has been something, trying to get organized here. Can you guess what we're going to talk about? Can you see anything here? Shoes. I promised you that we would talk about shoes. And I have brought up to these beautiful stairways. I'm babysitting the doggies today at Colleen and Micah's, so I thought I'd do a different background today. I'm talking today about the it shoe for the season. Now, you might not think so because it's not necessarily a loved shoe over the years. However, it has gone in waves for centuries. And believe it or not, this shoe, which is so different in so many ways, this is called a clog. Now, this is one example of a clog. This one happens to be an expensive one by Born. And of course, you can guess who gave me these shoes. And I love them. This beautiful pattern on the front. And notice that it is a low clog with a leather heel. Now, clogs began, as we all know, in Europe, and particularly in Amsterdam, in Holland. And the work shoe was literally carved out of a piece of wood. Now, my experience with clogs started, believe it or not, about 40 years ago. And as you know, I wear garden clogs all the time. You see me out in my very scuffed up garden clogs, which are made by a company called Jolly. And they're washable, they have inner soles that come in and out, you can clump around in the mud, and they're very much like, they're a hard shoe, but they're made of some kind of a rubber or poly something or other. I have these in yellow and red and black, and I absolutely adore them. And as a matter of fact, I have over the years, probably since I've been 55 or 60, had a few bouts with plantar fasciitis. Now, if you're familiar with heel pain, then you know what plantar fasciitis is. And it's something that comes on overnight. You can hardly get up in the morning with it, very painful. And the doctors say, I've had cortisone shots in my heels, and that's helped sometimes it hasn't. Sometimes you just have to work it out. So clogs, because of the arch, does help with plantar fasciitis. The reason I'm talking about this is because it's fashion related, and I'm gonna go up one more step and see if you can still see me. No, you probably can't, but you can't see the shoes that I have on, and that was the whole point of sitting on these stairs, which, by the way, has not been an easy thing for me to get myself situated here. But I have managed to get all my clogs up. Now, you saw me the other day in these leopard clogs. Now, most clogs are going to have a wooden sole, very much shaped like the Swedish clog. And that was my first pair of shoes, not these, but a pair that's long gone. Red leather clogs with a wooden sole, just like that, made in Sweden. And I got them when we were living in Scotland in my very early 30s. And I wore them all the time, mainly because I loved the look of them, and they were in at the time. Now, it's not a shoe that you wear everywhere. Right now, they're calling it the it shoe of the fall season, mainly because all the movie stars are clomping around in clogs of every kind. Now, I have put pictures of clogs on this video. Gucci makes a beautiful clog in their signature G with the saddle strap across the front. Hermes makes a clog, which is more on the flat style. You'll see that it's black. It doesn't have a light wooden sole. It's a shorter sole, and it has a beautiful buckle, I think, across the front. Everybody is coming out with clogs. Michael Kors makes clogs, and they are very much in. And they're worn, they say that they're taking the place of the sneakers or tennis shoes or workout shoes, whatever you call them. I have loved them, and the only reason I'm doing this video today mainly is because I have worn clogs all my life, especially in the days when I don't have to dress up. Many people will say they're ugly, but I'll tell you what, they are comfortable. I did wear them when I was teaching, and I would, because when you teach first or second grade, you're on your feet all day long. And I could do that with these shoes. So I had bunches of them. And whenever I would get presents from anyone, they always thought of Mom and clogs. So let me show you some of the clogs that I have. And you're gonna see that they're a little bit worn, not a little bit, a lot worn. I'm looking at my hair here. You know, I just took some curlers out. I forgot to even comb it through. I just straightened it a little bit here. Now, while I'm doing this, back in our little cottage, just 200 feet down the driveway, Moosey is sitting outside in the garden, and I have started the process of baking date nut bread. I found a recipe. My mother had a recipe, and I found one in her box. I also found one of a moist, what they call moist, and I want the moist one, dense and moist. And I saw one on Google, believe it or not. So I'm combining these two recipes, and I'm going to do that when I get finished with this and I leave. Now, the doggies are outside. I did a little filming of them too. I have to sit outside with them and keep them company a couple of times during the course of the day. And I have to make sure that Koda gets her pill. I think you know that Koda, the husky, suffers from seizures, which is so sad. Well, let me just show you some more of the clogs. You can get an idea of it. And maybe if you perhaps want to try them, I'm sure they're going to start showing up in Target and Walmart and all the shoe stores. Some of the clogs, for instance, the Hermes clog, I think is $1,500. Gucci is about $395, sometimes more. Michael Kors is in the $190, $150 range. And Nordstrom is selling them, and Saks and all the big stores are stocking up for the holidays in their clogs. Now, I showed you these flowers, and many of them are like this, but not necessarily with the pattern. They all have fancy buckles, not all, but they try and get their own signature look. So there are those. Now, somewhere I can't find the other one of these, but this is a typical clog, a beautiful leather clog. In this case, this is a little bit of a higher heel, but still, now this one seems to be a composition heel, but it is cloggy. And I like the decoration on this one. I have to find the other shoe to this because I like this one. Do you remember the ones I picked up at the thrift shop, brand new? Now these are a soft clog of some kind, and they're obviously of an animal print, and they have great stitching on it. Now this sole happens to be a rubber sole. I have had most of my clogs over the years. Many of the clogs I've had, I have worn out, and believe it or not, I actually threw them away. I had to. These are green suede, and I've had these probably for 15, 20 years too. So you might try the clogs just because they are comfortable, and you are going to see them. Now, I know a couple of the YouTube creators have done shoe videos, and clogs is always one of the 5 top shoes they're showing. They're also showing the slides, the pointy toe slide, and various other shoes. But this one is hanging in there, and over the years, it has had its ups and downs, but there are people like me that are still hanging in there. Now in the winter time, you would wear these with colorful socks, and I just dragged out some of mine. Have another pair here, haven't even worn yet. Taco about love. Funny, crazy socks people are wearing these with. And go on Google and punch in stars, movie stars who are wearing clogs, as Sarah Jessica Parker, Jennifer Lopez, Reese Witherspoon. They're all prancing around Hollywood in clogs. So I thought you'd like to know that, and to know that Nanny's right on top of it. Now, these are cute, and these are slipper clogs, and these are my Tory Burch dupes. I think I got these at Burlington. And these are made like a Birkenstock with the very comfortable sole, and these happen to be cork. Now they also make Crocs, which are in the clog family, and they're made of rubber or some composition. I have many of those too. Those I wear out in the garden. Now I'm gonna try and go up the stairs on my bottom and reach those ones that are way up there. Maybe I'll go up to step number 6 and you can see my shoes. Can you see these clogs that I have on? These were one of my favorites too. And I think Lucy might have gotten me these one year. Let me just take this off. Now, they're not all new, but these are a navy blue with a cute little Edelweiss flower, which is the flower of Austria, and a cute yellow and red buckle. And these are composition wood, except that they're dyed black. But I love these, and these are the ones I have on today. Oh, I do not have my nail polish on my toes, so. But aren't these cute? Can you see these? Now, up here, I did show you these shoes that I bought a couple of weeks ago. I wanted to find a loafer with a nice chain, because chains are in, by the way, for necklaces and belts and purses and shoes. I did buy these. They have a clunky heel. You wouldn't call these clogs, but you know what? It's in that family of clunky soles. Now let me see if I can go down. Now, an 85-year-old lady cannot go down on her bottom like little kids do. I am such a fan of clogs. Can you see that most of the time when you don't see my feet in a lot of the filming that I do, I have clogs on. And I will continue to be wearing them. And I am thrilled to death that I know that this year, when I wear my clogs out or in the home, I will be fashionable. So there you have it on the clogs. And now I'll go down and make the Dayton nut bread. This is my outfit of the day, which is just a pair of summer pants still. Now they are ankle pants, and I have just a polyester cotton turtleneck on today, not one of those very heavy sweaters on because our weather has not turned yet. And a vest. I'll get a little bit closer to show you the vest. Where'd they go? Where are those crows? Huh? There they go. Did you see him? I saw him. Where is he? Oh, there they are. Here he is. Oh, I see him. See him? And Koda just loves to relax and take in the sun and enjoy the peacefulness and perhaps watch her little buddy. Well, here we are in the kitchen, about ready to make date and nut bread. I ate the last of it yesterday and absolutely had to have some more. And I thought it was about time maybe we started finding a recipe. I did find one in one of my mother's recipe boxes. However, it was a little different, and I found one that was called a moist date nut bread on a Google recipe, and that's what I want, something nice and moist and chewy, and this one promised to have that. So I have everything ready. The prerequisite was to take the dates, and I found 12 ounces of dates. In fact, I bought 2 of these because I'm sure I'm going to be making another loaf. I chopped them up, and they were very, very sticky and in a big bowl. But what they want you to do is to pour a cup of boiling water or a cup of boiling coffee, one or the other. And by the way, if you use coffee, you don't get a coffee taste. It's just that the coffee does kind of accentuate the flavor a little more of the date nut bread. So here are my dates mixed in. By the way, you mix in with that, I believe, 1/4 cup of butter. So what you basically get out of that 12 ounces of dates is about 2 cups. The recipe calls for 2.5, but I think by the looks of it, 2 cups would be fine. So they're finely chopped, almost mushed. To that, we are going to add brown sugar and 1 egg, which we will put and mix in this bowl, and when we get the sugar and the egg mixed together, we will put it in with the dates. So that's our next step. 1/2 cup of brown sugar in here, and I mix that with the 1 egg. So we will begin. I have the flour mixture all ready to go. That is 1.5 cups of flour, all-purpose flour, and in it I put a pinch of salt, and you put in a teaspoon of baking powder and a teaspoon of baking soda, which I haven't done yet. I will put that in with this. So you keep these, this is the dry mix, this is the sugar and the egg, which gets mixed up. Then we put the sugar and the egg into the dates with the butter, and then we put the dry mix flour in with this, and then the last thing you add is a cup of walnuts. So I have that, chopped up walnuts. So that's it. I already have my pan all greased with butter, and I'm using tons of butter because I still think that's gonna make it moist. We will cook this at 350 for about 50 minutes, and you will judge that one way or the other depending on your oven. So we're whisking the egg, getting that all nice and frothy and whisked. They asked for 1 large egg, just seems large enough. And now I'm going to put it in this bowl with the 1/2 cup of brown sugar. Okay. And now I will mix that up. Now I believe the next step is to put that in with the dates. And let's hope we get a nice gooey mixture out of this. Okay. Want to get every bit of that out so that this becomes nice and moist. Now, some people in the reviews of this recipe said that they felt sometimes that you didn't need that much brown sugar, that the dates, which are very, very sweet, make it sweet enough. This looks good. Just what I had hoped. I'm gonna come up and show you the mixture now. This is what the dates looks like, and that's a lot of dates. And it's mixed in with the sugar, brown sugar, and 1 egg. And it has 1/4 cup of butter in there with it. 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and with the flour, 1½ cups of flour, and we're good to go. I'm trying to keep my copper utensils here quiet after my fall of the copper pot, which kind of scared me. Okay. All right, got the baking soda. Now look. Didn't know the top wasn't on. Hope I didn't put any of that in the flour. And a teaspoon of baking powder. That's good. All right. Now we just mix up that flour a little bit. Oh dear, I'm definitely not Martha Stewart. Of course, maybe she has somebody that goes around and wipes up after her. Now, here is my flour mixture, and I will now put this in little by little and mix it right in. I suppose I should clean this up a bit. I'm just so anxious. To get. Oh, you know, kind of started off the day like this, but it's reality, and it still is going to be delicious, whether it gets all over me and my jewelry and the table. It's still going to be good. Okay, it mixes in really nicely and quickly, so I don't have to worry about that. I don't think there's going to be any lumps in this that we're not going to like. There we go. Okay, we're piling up all our messy dishes, as Martha would do. Now I still have that copper pot full of walnuts sitting there. If I don't knock it off the table, the way we're going here, we'll be fine. Now I have to do this slowly so we don't get flour all over the place. Trying to be very, very good here. Okay. I am so excited for this. I just enjoyed that bread so much. It was so nostalgic to me. I think it was probably my most favorite thing to eat as a child. And the Vermont Country Store has a loaf. It's a small loaf, it's not a full loaf. And I think it's $19.95. So if you want to buy one of those first, go ahead and do that. Order it. It is in the new Christmas catalog, by the way. Not in a can. It's fresh, and it is, I have to tell you, as moist and fresh as can be. And then, after you finish that loaf, maybe you want to make this instead. Okay, it said don't over mix it because you want it to rise better. So, I don't think we've forgotten anything. All we have to do is quietly pour in the nuts. And we have 1 full cup of nuts here. Oops, sorry. You know, I wanted the copper measuring cups and spoons to match my copper decor in my little old kitchen here. And it is little and it is old. And it does make a lot of noise as you're cooking. So if you're doing this on camera, it is a disadvantage, but I just think I like the looks of it. Now we're just gonna mix all these nuts in, and then we're gonna put it in my well-buttered loaf pan. Now you might not get a loaf of bread as big as this. I don't think this is going to rise as big as a loaf of bread that has the yeast and everything in it, but we'll see. So here we go. No, I don't think we're going to be able to have a ton of this dough here. But the dough looks good going in. It's not runny. It is firm and fully packed with dates and nuts. I should get my spatula out and clear up every last bit of this. Just trying to get every last bit out of here. Now we will put it into the oven, as I said, at 350 for about 50 minutes. And halfway through, if you want to check it, you could put a little foil around it, maybe a little more butter on top to keep it nice and moist and wet. Now, one of the suggestions in one of the recipes that I read, a bunch of recipes, it said that you could put a little bit of orange zest in here. I didn't want to ruin the flavor, so I chose not to do that. So here we have our date and nut bread going into the oven, and hopefully it will be just as good and yummy as the Vermont Country Store was. So I'm gonna set my timer for 50 minutes. My glasses on, and could be 55, 50. Just don't want to overcook it. Nope, it's not ready. 55 minutes. There we go. See you in a bit. So I just took it out. It's hot and I can't handle it, but doesn't it look good? You know, it probably could have had 5 minutes less, maybe a little too much around the edges, but the bottom looks fine and I can't wait to eat it. So try the recipe. I'll put it in the description box below, that little arrow on the right, and then you push it and the show more box pops up and I'll put that recipe there. It's a quickie. It smells good. I hope it's nice and moist too. Well, I want to thank you all for watching. It's been a quick 1 or 2 days, and they've been a lot of fun. Actually, I have been up babysitting the dogs today all day long. I took Shani to school this morning, and I had to go up every couple of hours to let the dogs out in the back, and that's why I decided to film my shoe thing up there at Colleen's. So it was a fun day. Then I came home and decided to make the bread, and we will taste that bread next video. I am so excited to eat it. So let me explain one quick thing, because I don't want, I'm not going to say it, I don't want this to go too long. I always say that. So far as commenting and answering your responses, one of my gal pals wondered why some of the comments had hearts and some didn't. Well, I can't answer everything all at once, and I try right as soon as a video goes up to try and get a head start and start answering. But if the day is not going well, in the last couple days, I've been helping out Colleen with taking Shannon to school, pick up, taking care of the dogs, etc. And Lucy and I have had a couple of things going on. So I haven't been able to get to everything. I do eventually get to everything. So if you see that your comment doesn't have a heart or I haven't said something, don't worry about it. I will get around. I was even up at 2 o'clock this morning in my biphasic sleeping pattern, and I was answering some comments last night. Thank you for all those newcomers that have subscribed and that are here watching. I am so grateful to all of you. Thank you so much for being here with us. See you all soon again. Love you, and God bless us all.